Hi, my name is Mailat Bakala, and I am founder of Habesha Networks. I'm going to be interviewing Ida Solomon for the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce, the Ethiopian American Chamber of Commerce. So Ida, can you please just tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yes, thank you, Mela, for taking the time to interview me today. My name is Aida, as you said. I am born and raised in Southern California, and I have a bachelor's degree in film and media studies from UC Irvine, and I have a master's in communication management from USC. And I have joined the Ethiopian American Chamber of Commerce as their communications officer earlier this year, and I'm excited to be working with them.
Wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you do currently right now? I know Integrate Africa is something that you founded. Can you tell us a little bit about it and what you've been doing with it?
Sure. So I was able to co-found Integrate Africa with my partner, Brady Takesta. We actually met while we were both in graduate school at USC, and we both have a passion for storytelling. So we were able to join forces and come together and start our own strategic communications consulting firm called Integrate Africa. We do like to focus and work with different organizations or ventures that are based on the continent or within the diaspora. We are very much user based in terms of how we come up with our strategies. And we do a digital marketing strategy, social media management, and we also do event management as well.
Wonderful. What triggered you to create Integrate Africa with Radiate?
Yeah, so Rady already had consulting experience before her and I became friends and started working together. But myself, I had become more and more active within the Ethiopian community in Los Angeles. And I noticed that a lot of business owners, they promoted themselves purely through word of mouth rather through using more, modern digital marketing techniques. So a lot of folks may not have had like a website or a social media presence or didn't understand the importance of SEO. So I just saw that we could bridge the gap in helping not only Ethiopian community members, but other, African community members or like first generation community members that are entrepreneurs and want to be able to reach a wider audience through their businesses by being able to have a strategy in place for their business, having, a solid brand and understanding the importance of a brand for their businesses as well, and just different modes of storytelling aside from, just word of mouth from your own community.
That's awesome. I'd love to hear just kind of what were some of the challenges and also some of the lessons learned in working with Integrate Africa and the different clients that you've had.
Yeah, thank you for that, because I think it's really important for us as, budding or aspiring entrepreneurs to also talk about our challenges that we face. So whether it was, working and living in California or, working and living in Ethiopia, I lived there for the past 3 years. I think that one of the biggest challenges is just for people in our community and culture to understand the importance of marketing and putting in a sizable budget towards marketing and how important that is for your business. I think that sometimes it can take a lot of convincing for business owners that are more old school or have more traditional ways of running their business to understand why it's important to have a website, why it's important to have social media platforms and to be able to engage with your customers. And I think that in itself can be very challenging, just bridging that gap and allowing folks to understand the importance of marketing and, taking a gamble on maybe using a different strategy with, running their business, because there are a lot of business owners that have become very successful just through word of mouth in the community. And so I think it's just about explaining digital marketing or explaining business strategy in a way that's not so intimidating and doing it in a way that, anyone can understand the importance of it.
Gotcha. What would you say to somebody? I mean, what you've done with all the things that you've done and have accomplished, I mean, it's so admirable. And I guess for somebody who's interested in trying to become an entrepreneur, what advice would you give to them? Because as you said, you've faced different challenges and overcoming those challenges, but what advice would you give to somebody who's looking to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so I think there's a lot of different challenges or steps that can be taken. I think first and foremost, everyone's journey and path is different. For some folks, they have to work full time or still have a full-time 9 to 5 in order to support themselves financially. So if that's your current situation, you can always continue to work while pursuing your entrepreneurial ventures on the side. So I think that could be an ideal setup for folks that still want to delve into entrepreneurship and may not be able to do so full time due to financial restrictions or other restrictions. So I think that being able to balance both is very important. I think also adopting some sort of schedule and routine in your day-to-day life is very important as well. When you want to balance a 9 to 5 and your entrepreneurial ventures as well, I think being very disciplined, writing everything down and using different types of like calendars and just time and project management, I think is very important, because I think a lot of us are creative and we have these ideas that we want to bring to life. But when you start going back into your normal day-to-day routine, it can be hard to find time to do both. And it can be discouraging because a lot of times when you do start a new business, you may not start seeing that return of revenue or start making money for a while. So it's going to be you investing a lot of time and energy and money up front before you kind of start to see a return. So I think being very disciplined with your schedule, whether it's working from 9 to 5 and then taking a break for an hour, then working on your own projects from 6 to 8, or, using like Saturday mornings, Sunday mornings to work on your businesses is really important. And then I think finally, having a mentor that you can look up to and that you can really get great advice from is really, really important. Something that I found challenging living in Ethiopia is that it could be sometimes hard to find a mentor. I don't know if that's a cultural gap, but I think that the difference in like our culture here is that here folks are very open and they're willing to share a lot of their successes. And I think sometimes in Ethiopia that can be challenging to find folks that are very transparent and are trusting. So I think that being able to find a mentor, whether it's asking people in your own networks about someone that you can connect to, someone that's in a similar industry as you, and making sure that that relationship you have with your mentor is somewhat mutually beneficial, right? I think that's always important as well, to be able to contribute to your mentor or be able to collaborate with your mentor in a way that both people on both ends feel very fulfilled by that relationship.
Yeah, that's actually really well put. And even leading into my next question, that's a great point about just resources and finding good resources and a network of people to do that. So for you, is that one of the reasons you joined the Chamber of Commerce, because you wanted that network, you wanted the resources, the mentor, people to help guide you within being an entrepreneur?
100%. I think that it's really important for us when we talk about how much we love our community, we love being Ethiopian or being part of the community in the greater Los Angeles area. I think this is a great way for us to truly come together and uplift each other, share resources, especially now during the COVID-19 pandemic, where a lot of small business owners are going to be greatly impacted. We want to be able to provide different resources for business owners in order to help them stay afloat, in order to help them take, short-term courses or workshops or even consulting services on how to, help their businesses grow, and just to network within our own community, because it's quite surprising to see how many successful folks we have in our community, but we may not necessarily just know each other. And so being able to connect on that level and having that transparency of, I'm struggling with this, like, how are my other, business owners dealing with this as well, rather than being so kind of private in our, in our hardships. I think it's really important, because the more that we can share the good and the bad, I think we can like help each other and we can grow better as a community.
Wow. Well put. I think, just even hearing you talk about just how in COVID and everything going on and impacting us, how have you been able to sustain during this time? And is there any advice that you could give to anybody because we're all just trying to figure it out, and a lot of this is unprecedented, so it's new, and we're just trying to stay afloat, especially for small businesses, and which a lot of Ethiopian businesses tend to be small businesses.
Yeah, so I think something that's really important in all transparency is just being able for all of us to look at our own, financial background and being able to discern what's the best decision for me at this time. I think that sometimes we may feel discouraged by having to, like, let's say, move back in with our family, or by having to like sell a car, or, kind of downsize our lifestyles because, once you get used to a certain lifestyle, it's hard to go back to something different. But I think that it's really important to keep in mind different situations and factors like the pandemic, and being able to say, based on my current finances, what makes the most sense for me, rather than being worried about what are other people going to think, what are other people going to say. And I think that sometimes that's a restriction we may have culturally in making the right decision for us. So I think for me, it's been great that I do have, the support of like family and friends, and, I've been able to continue to work from home and, share that burden with my family, and just continue to pursue work under Integrate Africa, and also pursue other opportunities at the same time. And I actually transitioned from Ethiopia back to the US this year during the pandemic. So it's been an interesting year of transition. And I think it's just important for all of us to make the best decisions for ourselves based on where we are currently.
Yeah, well put. Well, I just want to end it out with my last question is, what would you tell for an Ethiopian who's an entrepreneur, who's interested in the Chamber of Commerce? What would you pitch to them if you think, basically to get them to join?
Yeah, so, we're restarting the Ethiopian American Chamber of Commerce, and we're restarting it with new energy, and we're putting together a new team, and we're actually offering free membership for the first 50 businesses that do sign up to be a part of the chamber. So I think that in itself is a really huge incentive. And we have someone, the founder, Nigasagasa, who is someone that's been working in the community for a very long time and working in Los Angeles for a long time. And we're really working hard to curate different types of resources and information for our members. We're going to be launching a virtual networking series as well for people to be able to meet each other and learn from each other. And, we're, like we also said, we're offering, consulting services as well for folks that do want more one-on-one assistance, whether it's regarding their marketing or their strategy, or just how to cope during the pandemic. So I think that it's really great for us to be able to come together as a community, especially during this difficult time for small business owners, and be able to share the wealth of knowledge that we have amongst each other to make sure that we can all stay afloat during this time.
Yes, that's awesome. Oh, well, I'm already going to sign up, so you don't have to ask. I'm going to be one of those 50s. So
awesome. Thank you.
So Ida, thank you so much for your time. Just so wonderful to hear about your experience and everything that you're doing with Integrate Africa and the Ethiopian Chamber of Commerce. So super excited and can't wait to get a part of it.
Great. Thank you so much, Mela. I appreciate it.